unburdened by what has been, you know?
What can be unburdened by what has been.
What can be unburdened by what has been.
What can be unburdened by what has
going to my mind's going blank now. What's happening? What, I can't remember. I'm gonna lose track. My mind's going blank now. What are you talking about? What the hell's going on here? Where the hell are we? My mind's going blank now. I can't remember. I don't know what the hell he's talking about. What am I doing here? My mind's going blank now. Where am I headed? I keep forgetting I'm president. Where am I? No idea. Last night I was on television. I was on a telephone, rapidly rising, and with I don't know. COVID has taken more than 100 years. Look, here's lives reflected in the NHEI. America is a nation that can be defined in a single word. I was going to put him in the we're going to seize the ill-begotten gains of Putin's autocracy. Yeah. NATO's purpose is to defend against aggression. Let me make near and dear to you that you like to be able to. Anyway. My mind's going blank now. What's happening? What, I can't remember. I'm gonna lose track. My mind's going blank now. What are you talking about? What the hell's going on here? Where the hell are we? My mind's going blank now. I can't remember. I don't know what the hell he's talking about. What am I doing here? My mind's going blank now. Where am I headed? I keep forgetting I'm president. Where am I? No idea. I don't think as the idea that the political coverage of I want to thank and recognize Dr. John Kingersong. I can't get this to function at all. My mind's going blank now. What's happening? What, I can't remember. I'm gonna lose track. My mind's going blank now. What are you talking about? What the hell's going on here? Where the hell are we? My mind's going blank now. I can't remember. I don't know what the hell he's talking about. What am I doing here? My mind's going blank now. Where am I headed? I keep forgetting I'm president. Where am I? No idea.
Get this thing to work. Yeah, I can't get this thing to work. My mind's going blank. Oh, hey there, folks. Welcome back to the program. This is Chris live for the AM edition from Central Pennsylvania. Where do you find yourselves around the world? I hope you're well. Let me just double check and make sure that sound is coming through. Well, my software says it's coming through. You should be able to hear me. Let me see who we've got in the chat. We've got some big breaking news out of Johannesburg where the Al Jamaa mayor has finally resigned from office, and I don't think anybody's going to miss him. Keith Alderson in from Coventry, Vilma Erasmus. Gus is here. Hester Skalkjandai. Brian Lawrence and Alan Kotza. Peter Oren says he'll catch up later. Well, thanks for popping in. And it says, Madi kind sing daramba mui ho. Not ho. That'd be war because it's an H, yeah. Welcome. Stephen Van Vyk says, I'm actually catching a stream live again. Well, Stephen, it's good to see you again there. And Skulk says, 5x5, coming through loud and clear. All right, excellent. And Trevin Van Kerkhoff, good afternoon. Well, Trevin, welcome to you. That's an interesting name. Pleasure to have you join us. I just finished recording a session for Megaphone Rugby on the Rugby Ascendant podcast that we have on there. And that should be interesting. So I had to do that early because I'm doing consulting this week. And I will be tied up during the day. I will do a mobile broadcast later today, as I typically do when I'm doing consulting around my lunchtime hour, but it will be once again unannounced. So make sure you've got your notifications turned on in your app, on your mobile device, accepting those notifications, and you're a subscriber to the program. For the rest of you, just look for me sometime later today. It is just a little bit after 7 a.m. here on the East Coast, the 13th of August, 2024. Know that 22 up there is not the time. It's not the date. That is the temperature. 22 degrees Celsius here in my studio. Welcome back to the program. Big news in South Africa. Big news in America, where last night I was unable to listen to Donald Trump on Twitter because it failed. Too many people tuned in. I don't know the exact number, but the media are covering that up. One media reports at 89 million. I don't know if that's true or not. They alluded that's his followers who watched last night, but I don't know if they're talking about how many followers he has on his Twitter account or how many people actually tuned in. But a lot of us tried to get in. We couldn't get in. The Twitter was broken. We broke the internet last night. Yeah, Donald Trump, Joe Biden, 81 million votes, my backside. So anyway, Kamala Harris is getting all the attention. So what does the media do? Kamala Harris and the media come out and lie about the event. I mean, the opinion from Stephen Collinson, he's a worthless piece of human feces. That guy for the Washington Post, or is it CNN? CNN makes this commentary talking about Trump lying all the time. These people, these pathological liars in the legacy media, all they do is lie and call other people liars. It's really tragic, their stupidity. Anyway, folks, Jax is here. Hey, good to see you. There was a attack which had to be sorted out. Okay, all right. Well, hope it's sorted now. Thank you for sharing that, Jax. All right, so let's go with the big news out of South Africa first, and then we're going to talk about Jordan Chiles will not be getting her medal back. We're going to talk about that as well, and the Trump interviews. So let's get into it. Today's news, and because I won't be able to access this later on today, I'll be able to do news, but just from telling you the news, not showing it to you on the screen. But here we can still show on the screen because I'm in the studio. 7.7 million. Okay, thank you, Vilma. That's what I'm saying, so we don't know. Okay, why is the not coming up? Hang on a second. Something's not right here. There we go. All right, there we go. Got it. Okay, so Wamanda has resigned as Joburg mayor. The African National Congress councillor Dada Marrero is likely to replace him. He wasn't even the mayor before. In a statement released by the city today, his departure was described as emanating from political engagements that have been largely informed by the new political architecture of governance in the country after May 29th. What? That's some gobbledygook, is it not? Oh my, that's some really, he says, I'm pleased we managed to place good governance on course and that we achieved the best audit outcomes witnessed by the city in years. My story is one I'm hopeful will continue to inspire many an African child from our city against that deprivation, isolation, social and political exclusion. With the absence of friends, peers, and the corporate and media hierarchy, one can live and rise in the noble cause of changing the conditions of the poor. Once again, crying and race hustling. Dude, 4 out of 5 people are black in South Africa. You control the political establishment. You control the economic sector. And the people are going to dispute that, but it is true. You cannot flourish in the economic sector unless you have the permission of black elites in South Africa. So stop whining. Stop whining. If you want to say that you're poor and you rose up from poverty, that's fine. But that's not what he's saying. Anyway, unemployment rate jumps again in South Africa. The official unemployment rate jumps, but we know the number is actually far higher than the government admits. And it jumps to 33.5%. 8.4 million South Africans officially out of work, but the number is closer to about 18 million South Africans out of work. No job, 2 kids, please help. Wow. 16.7 million people employed in South Africa. I find that a questionable number. They must be including the informal sector, because only about 7 million people are actually paying taxes. 5 million. Look at that. So the expanded unemployment rate, which includes discouraged work seekers who've given up searching, rose to 42.6%. So almost half the workforce is unemployed. It's crazy. That's crazy. 3.6 million people out of 10.3 million 15 to 24-year-olds are unemployed. Well, 15-year-olds shouldn't be employed. 16-year-olds shouldn't be employed. 17-year-olds shouldn't be employed. 18, yes. World record unemployment, it's a good measure on the NC's performance today. Yep. Well, there's calls for an Umkhonto we Sizwe party conference after all of the chaos in that party. Yep. As MK party engages in a cleansing drive to spew out all its infiltrators. It's funny. It's funny that MK is purging its infiltrators who've infiltrated the party to undermine the structures, when that's exactly what they're doing to counselors across KZN, infiltrating the IFP, infiltrating the EFF and other parties to convince counselors to resign so that there can be a by-election and then they can stand to run for office. What a scam. What an anti-democratic bunch of bullshit by this corrupt vanity project for Jacob Zuma, who should just go away and go spend the rest of his life in prison. That's what he should do. Formed in September last year by Jabulani Khumalo, later expelled by the current leader and former president, the party has yet to hold its elective conference to elect new leaders. Well, that's because it's not a political party. It is a joke. It is a sick joke on South African voters. Its intent is to be disruptive and collect salaries in parliament that should go to people who want to legitimately recognize and represent the people of South Africa. But that is not what is going on. So, unbelievable. Unbelievable. Well, most of it's gone, folks. AG Shakani Muleke says that most of the $14 billion in irregular spending is gone. There's no way they can recover it. More ANC mischief as money has disappeared and put people in poverty. Auditor General Shakani Muleke says government departments, institutions, municipalities are still battling with financial governance. Yep, the situation is even worse in South African municipalities, most of which have been crippled by financial and governance mismanagement, theft, and malicious behavior. Let's just be honest. During audits done in line with the Public Finance Management Act in 2022 and 2023, there were 240 material financial losses, estimated 14.34 billion rand. Asked by the media how much of that's recoverable, she said, well, most of it. If you look at the issues that are sitting there, many of them are cumulative. Some of them would have been matters that come from 2019. When you have liquidations in process, you're not going to get all the money back. You can try, but you're unlikely to get it back. This is why we keep coming back to the point that it's better to invest in your ability to prevent these problems so that they're not so pervasive. Well, stop having incompetent patronage hires work in government. Stop letting thieves run government. Stop the ANC. Full stop. Problem solved. Well, South Africa has no authority to dictate the Southern African Development Conference. Duh. The summit, people arguing that South Africa should tell them to move it from Zimbabwe. Well, they have no authority to do that. They're a member state. They're not a hegemonic state. The 44th Ordinary Southern African Development Community Summit of Heads of State and Government is scheduled to take place on August 17th. By the way, I said conference, but that's because that's what it used to be. It used to be SADC, and it was a faux pas stuck in my head. President Ramaphosa and Roddy Lamola expected to lead a delegation to the summit in Harare on the 17th of August. Durka was responding to the Democratic Alliance's call for the International Relations and Cooperation Minister Roddy Lamola to exercise South Africa's right as a SADC member and urgently demand that the summit heads of state be moved. Well, South Africa has no right to do that. Well, what's with the DA? That's a dumbass waste of time. Why is the DA spinning windmills at Zimbabwe and where the SADC conference? Nothing's coming out of it. We know if it's a fascist state. Why even talk about it? It's silly. Just ignore it. It's not going to have any impact whatsoever. Well, South Africa's Olympians have returned to South Africa to a rousing welcome. Tatiana Schoonmaker, or Smith, nay Schoonmaker, is back in South Africa along with her teammates, Philip van Niekerk and others. Here's the men who won the silver. Team arrived back at OR Tambo in Joburg this morning. There she is, Tatiana Smith, with another gold. She got a gold and a silver, just like she did in the last Olympics, but she switched around the races in the opposite direction. Yep, an exciting moment in history at OR Tambo as we welcome our athletes who flew the flag as high as possible from Paris. There you go. Congratulations to the South African Olympians as they make their way back to South Africa. Diane McMeekin, your comment is visible. I can see it. The United States has had no role in ousting the Prime Minister of Bangladesh. Why would we give two flips about Bangladesh? The United States had no role in ousting Bangladeshi Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina, who recently quit her post and fled to India. There are apparently allegations of U.S. interference, which is just nonsense according to the U.S. government. Why would we interfere in Bangladesh? That doesn't even make any sense. Well, ladies and gentlemen, more controversy at the Paris Olympics. Even though it's over, apparently Stephen Curry's family was accosted by Paris police. No details on why it happened, but apparently there were tears as Stephen Curry's family tried to leave Paris. Steph Curry's family ended up in a confrontation with police after he helped the team win the men's gold in the basketball. According to a video shared by Hollywood Fix, the Golden State Warriors player's wife, Aisha Curry, and his mother, Sonia Curry, were spotted with fellow Warriors player Draymond Green speaking to the police in Paris. They showed Aisha crying while her mother-in-law spoke to the officers who were allegedly preventing the family from getting into their car. Aisha is seen carrying the couple's youngest son, Caius, as another child who appeared to be the Curry's oldest son, Cannon, walked with a flag draped over his shoulders. Look, they won't let us go back over there where we came from. They won't let the driver come here, and they won't let us go back over there. Although Steph was not in the video, his teammates seemed to intervene when he could be heard saying in the background, so even after him hitting the baby in the head, there's still nothing y'all can do to get them out of here. Wow. And they said the president was coming and nobody's allowed to cross the street until he's passed. Aha! So the police had the president, Emmanuel Macron, passing. Well, maybe that's much ado about nothing. The innocent victims in the Ukraine conflict, that would be Volodymyr Zelensky's Ukraine, those poor innocent Ukrainians, poor folks who've invaded and attacked and murdered innocent civilians in the Kursk region. Yep, they've invaded Russia. Top Ukrainian commander says his forces now control almost 390 square miles of Russia's Kursk region. Well, there you go. General Oleksandr Syrsky made the statement in a video posted Monday to Volodymyr Zelensky's Telegram channel. The troops are fulfilling their task. Fighting continues to action along the entire front. The situation is under our control. Russian forces are scrambling to respond to the surprise Ukrainian attack a week after it started. And here you can see a map of how much territory the Ukrainians claim that they've occupied. 30 Russian towns and villages have been occupied, and civilians are now becoming the victims on the Russian side of the border, courtesy of the invasion by Ukraine. The innocent Ukraine, using weapons of war, using Bradley fighting vehicles, using F-16s given by the United States and its allies to this belligerent country. This is not going to end well for them. Hey, folks, listen, the Winter Olympics are in Cortina d'Ampezzo, Italy in 2026. I'm planning on going. And maybe I'll be enjoying some of those tasty Maryland blue crabs. Yeah. While we have trouble struggling to keep the blue crab population healthy and wealth and growing in the Chesapeake Bay, guess what has invaded Italy? They have an invasive species, the Atlantic blue crab, which is pretty much the Maryland blue crab. So blue crabs cross the Atlantic as stowaways, and with no natural predators, they're overtaking Italy's maritime ecosystem. Look at all those crabs wasted, man. That's a ton of meat. A container full of blue crabs in Gora, Italy, 100 miles south of Venice. Last summer, while sweating my way through the Rialto fish market, I spotted a familiar sight from my North Carolina upbringing, Atlantic blue crabs, labeled Granchio Blue. My Italian is not great, but I know gastronomy words and a blue crab when I see one. As it turns out, the crabs have probably crossed the Atlantic as stowaways in the ballast water on barge ships, and they were first spotted in 2012 in Spain's Ebro Delta in the Mediterranean. The crab's excessive increase is a direct result of climate change-induced sea level rise and extreme heat in the summer. Okay, first off, sea levels have not risen in the Mediterranean. That's factually incorrect. And extreme heat in the summer. Blue crabs don't do well in extreme heat, so this guy doesn't know what he's talking about, or she doesn't know, Jen Rice. Yeah, anyway, according to the Maryland Department of Natural Resources, female blue crabs produce up to 8 million eggs a year, and in Venice's lagoon, they've become unstoppable. Just as tourists overcrowd hyped vacation destinations in Italy, the blue crabs have become an invasive species, particularly in the Veneto region because its bay hosts no known predators. The crabs prey on young clams, mussels, and oysters and have destroyed up to 90% of the area's young clams, causing severe damage to future production. The invasion prompted the Italian government to allocate €3 million to protect local fisheries from the crabs. The damage is extraordinary not only to the maritime ecosystem, but to small fishermen families whose livelihood depends on providing local shellfish. Well, provide crabs then. The invasion also stands to change the region's culinary culture. Well, yes, start serving crabs, man. Oh, my goodness. Oh, look at all these blue crabs, man. Oh, there's no shortage of them. Wow. And look at all the shellfish on the left-hand side. Many chefs in the region worry the blue crabs could completely overtake the maritime ecosystem. They're trying to preserve their heritage. Well, start eating crabs, man. Alien food. I started with a soft shell and tried a very classic recipe, battered in flour and fried in hot oil. It's very, very good. Well, that's not how we eat crabs. That must be how you're doing it. Fishmonger Joël Trevisien shows a box of blue crabs in the fish market in Venice. Blue crabs in the Mediterranean. Yum, yum. Good stuff. Good stuff. Boy, they got some strange ways of eating it. And there's the Rialto district in Venice. Interesting. A lot of comments on this. Let me see what the comments are, if they show up here. I'm salivating, and Italy's so close to me, I might just go there for lunch. Says somebody, Maryland will take them. Yes, we'll take them. Send those crabs our way. Can't have Italians complaining about our beautiful crabs. Oh, my goodness. Yep. Time for Venice to start an Old Bay campaign. Old Bay seasoning, yeah. Oh, my God. Send them to Maryland. Such volume of blue crabs will give us even more to enjoy. I'll be over to do my part helping out the good people of Venice. When was that next soft shell season? Oh my goodness. The Maryland, the Baltimore Banner did a series of stories on this last year. Oh my goodness. Yeah, people are loving it, loving it, loving it. Very strange. If I comment from my laptop, it does not show. From my phone, it does. Have this problem generally on several channels. Anyway, how do you use? No ideas, Diane. I don't know what's going on. We've had a problem. Val Cooper was blocked from commenting on this channel, and it's happened to other people. I was blocked on Scott Balson's channel, and people claim they never blocked me, and maybe they didn't, given what's going on here. Yeah, export them back to the U.S., exactly. Last time Russia was invaded was World War II. That did not end well. Yeah. On the laptop, check the comment settings. On the phone, it's the 3 horizontal lines. Yeah, good point, Keith. Thank you for helping out there. Right. Puerto Rico cancels classes as Tropical Storm Ernesto nears the island. My goodness, that looks like a big storm. San Juan, Puerto Rico activated the National Guard and canceled the start of classes in public schools as forecasters warned that the U.S. territory would be hit by Tropical Storm Ernesto, which formed in the Atlantic on Monday. Classes? Who the hell's in class in August? No one's going to class for another 2 weeks. That's when the school year starts. Why are Puerto Rico starting earlier? Well, a court has turned down the U.S. Olympics team's request for reinstatement of Jordan Chiles' bronze medal. The Court of Arbitration for Sport denied USA Gymnastics' efforts to restore Jordan Chiles' bronze, a major blow to the Federation's hopes. The Court of Arbitration for Sport will not reconsider its ruling that led to the revocation of Jordan Chiles' Olympic bronze medal. USA Gymnastics said Monday, a major blow to the U.S. Federation's hopes of reversing the decision that pushed Chiles off the podium nearly a week after the floor final. She celebrated a third-place finish on the medal stand, but the International Olympic Committee determined Sunday, 6 days after the event, that Romania's Ana Barbusu will receive the bronze instead of Chiles, and she must return her medal. USA Gymnastics fought back and said they submitted video footage, but apparently it did not work. We're deeply disappointed by the notification and will continue to pursue every possible avenue and appeal process, including to the Swiss Federal Tribunal, to ensure the just scoring. So, controversy centers on Chiles' last-minute score change, which bumped her from 5th place to 3rd. Chiles' coach, Cecile Landy, filed an inquiry after a score was posted. When the judges reevaluated her routine, Chiles' score increased by 0.1 points. She was the final athlete to compete, and that adjustment moved her into bronze medal position ahead of Barbusu. Chiles left the arena as a bronze medalist. The Romanian Gymnastics Federation then made an appeal, and the court ruled the inquiry that benefited Chiles had been filed after the 1-minute deadline, rendering the decision invalid. Yeah, but the USA claims they got there at 47 seconds and 57 seconds for a second appeal. Who knows? Who knows? A lot of conspiracy theories. Ian Miles Chung claimed that the International Olympic Committee wanted, or the Paris Games wanted, an all-black medal stand for a sport that has been traditionally overwhelmingly dominated by white female athletes. And so by bumping the Romanian, you got all black on the stand. Who knows what's going on? I sure don't. Kamala Harris, like a petulant child, swings at Donald Trump and misses. Kamala Harris' campaign criticized Trump for serving self-obsessed rich guys after an interview with Elon Musk. Musk said after the interview that he would also be happy to host Harris. But of course, she doesn't want to come on. Vice President Kamala Harris' presidential campaign is blasting former President Trump's interview with billionaire Elon Musk, saying Trump's campaign is in service of self-obsessed rich guys who will sell out the middle class. Really? So why won't you go on X, Kamala? Why won't you give a press interview, Kamala? Why won't you talk to the American people, Kamala? Because you're an empty suit. You're a cheap fraud. So she attacks Donald Trump for speaking to the public when she doesn't speak to the public. Talk about hypocrisy. My name is Kamala Harris. No doubt about that, folks. Well, the CNN runs an op-ed that's BS. They run a story that's accurate and newsworthy. So it's important to make the distinction between analysis and news, and here we go. This is a news story. Trump and Musk host friendly conversation on X after delay from technical difficulties. Yep, former President Donald Trump and Tesla CEO and owner Elon Musk hosted a friendly conversation on X after their interview was delayed by more than 40 minutes due to technical difficulties. The delay of the high-profile interview was the Trump campaign's latest stumble as it looks to regain momentum following the Democratic Party's coalescing. What's the latest stumble? What stumble? Trump gained nearly 1 million new followers Monday night since he started posting again on his platform. Throughout the conversation, Musk asked Trump softball questions that allowed the former president to stick to his talking points. I'm sorry. Softball questions? What is this? Are you talking about CNN? CNN's treatment of Democratic candidates? CNN's debate hosting? All they ever do is ask softball questions. So they're actually pointing out that Elon Musk asked softball questions. Here's a little newsflash for CNN. Elon Musk is not a journalist, okay? So softball questions, that's funny. That's funny. That's funny. Well, the Wall Street Journal says Trump and Musk discuss on X immigration and a shared vision for the U.S. For over 2 hours, Musk and Donald Trump bantered on X about the national security, energy policy, immigration, and more in a freewheeling conversation that gave the former president a forum to launch personal attacks on political rivals as both men reveled in their largely shared vision of the country. So here he talks about a bunch of things, but CNN says it was just a softball question. John Jarvis, Matthew Dixon is just being silly. He's a troll looking for something to say. Relax. Well, they're going to learn from this, said Trump, while praising the Secret Service responses. They move so fast, and let me tell you, they look tremendous courage. I don't think so. I disagree. Interview of the century by Trump's team. The audio-only event felt more like overhearing a telephone call, often with rambling between two figures who have grown closer as Musk's politics have shifted to the right. Well, that's fair. That's fair. But definitely breaking the internet. Definitely breaking the internet. So, anyway. 759,000 people at this point, but it was 7 million. So see, look how even the Wall Street Journal tells lies. Yep. Look at that. Tim Pool got to be there. I'm so sick of these nobodies being famous. It's really getting annoying. Really getting annoying. RFK Jr. has been kicked off the ballot in New York as another effort to undermine the election continues in New York. Deny ballot access in New York after judge rules he used a sham address on his petition. A New York judge ruled Monday that Robert Kennedy Jr.'s ballot access is invalid, delivering his first blow to his independent presidential candidate for nationwide ballot access. New York Supreme Court Justice Christina Ryba accepted the arguments made by Democratic voters and supported by Clear Choice, a pro-Kamala Harris group seeking to combat third-party candidates, which claimed Kennedy violated state law by listing a New York address as his residence on the petition despite living in California. Ryber wrote that Kennedy's listed New York's address was not a bona fide legitimate residence, but merely a sham address that he assumed for the purpose of maintaining his voter registration and furthering his own political aspirations in the state. In a statement Monday, Kennedy said he plans to appeal the ruling. The Democrats are showing contempt for democracy. They aren't confident they can win at the ballot box, so they're trying to stop voters from having choices. We will appeal and we will win. Well, there you go. The campaign made a particularly strong push to qualify for New York, gathering thousands of signatures and holding multiple campaign events in the state during its 6-week collection. The challenge questioned the legitimacy of the Katona, New York address listed on his residence on his ballot petition. Despite living in Los Angeles since before running for president, the address was revealed during a trial to be a rented bedroom at the house of Kennedy's friend. Kennedy testified he does not have a physical attachment to the New York address and only slept at the bedroom once since renting it. But he intends to return to New York when his wife, actress Cheryl Hines, retires from acting. And this is the Democratic Party once again trying to deny the democratic process. This is a Democrat, and they are denying him access to the ballot on a bogus assumption. It doesn't matter what his physical address is. He's not running for governor of New York or Senate of New York. He's running for president of the United States. Why does he have to have a New York address? No one did. Joe Biden doesn't have a New York address. Donald Trump doesn't have a New York address. This is the Democratic Party undermining the rule of law. They are just disgusting, disgusting human beings. And speaking of disgusting human beings, here, there, everywhere. That was terrible, wasn't it? Well, so was her rendition of that vile, annoying song. And if that hurts your feelings, I'm sorry. But the Titanic, here's a news flash for you if you haven't seen the movie. The boat sinks. And the movie is even worse. Not only does the boat sink, but the moron lets go of the raft and dies. Oh, and the idiot throws the priceless jewel into the Atlantic. Yeah, to be with her remains of her lover, eaten by sharks, no doubt. Nearly a century prior. Ridiculous. Ridiculous. Yeah, who am I talking about? Celine the Annoying Dion. That's right. She marries her grandfather. That's right. Celine Dion mocks Trump for playing her music at a rally. Really? That song? Near, far, wherever he is, Celine Dion doesn't want Donald Trump playing her music. The Canadian chanteuse and her record label posted on social media over the weekend to disassociate themselves from Montana rally at which the former president's campaign played the video of Miss Dion singing "My Heart Will Go On." Today, Celine Dion's management team and her record label, Sony Music, became aware of the unauthorized usage of the video, recording, musical performance, and likeness of Celine Dion. In no way is this authorized. And then she had a twist of the knife. And really, that song? Well, you know what? Celine Dion, we don't give two iotas about your opinion. Go back to Canada, leave Vegas. You're not welcome with your horrible personality, and marry another grandfather. Good Lord. Good Lord. My goodness. Right. Are there any YouTubers that Chris has time for? Yeah. Sure. Plenty of YouTubers. I interact with many YouTubers. You talking about big personality YouTubers, John Jarvis? Salty Cracker. Yeah, time for Salty Cracker. Steven Crowder. Time for Crowder, yeah. Yeah, Titanic was cringe. Vaseline Dion, exactly. Yeah, no. You know what? The Trump campaign, don't use music from these has-been musicians. You know, use classic stuff, you know? Just use classic stuff. Anyway, yeah, there you have it. That didn't work, says Diane. Well, I'm sorry, Diane. That's unfortunate. I don't know what's going on. Diane, are you using a different username on the laptop than you're using here? Is it 2 accounts? Again, see, this is YouTube. There's something that's not right. But it's not something I can control. I'm asking because I'll look and see if you've got a block on this channel. Wow, nobody's showing up this hour. This is not a good hour to do this. Matthew thought Celine was a classic. Yeah, a lot of people think she's a classic. I'm not one of them. I can't stand the Titanic. I remember when the Titanic movie came out. Oh my gosh. I was in Germany visiting a friend of mine, Vince Koch. Not Vince Koch. His name is Koch. Yeah, not Vincent Koch, but Koch, same last name. Anyway, he was a captain in the Army. We were both commanders in counterintelligence in the same organization. And went to visit him and his wife, and they had watched Titanic like 4 times. This is when it came out. And they asked, did you watch Titanic? I'm like, no. Oh, you didn't watch the Titanic? Oh my gosh. It's the most incredible movie. You got to go watch it. How can you not have watched Titanic? This is like a year after it came out. I'm like, because it doesn't interest me. I'm like, why do I need to watch the movie? I know that the ship sinks. You should have seen the look on her face. She was aghast, like, oh. I thought she was going to have a coronary and chest pains, you know, because I hadn't watched the movie Titanic. Well, I don't like to watch movies that everybody overhypes. I mean, it's just crazy. I didn't care for the movie. Did nothing for me. Nothing for me. By contrast, when The Matrix came out, there was no hype. I was in Italy, stationed in Italy. It came out, and there was was it a Sony theater or MGM or something like that? They built a theater. It was an experiment to see if they could, you know, make money doing that. They built a theater at the lame mall that was nearby. It's the best Italy had to offer on the way into work. And so I went there and I watched it. It was a matinee, and in the matinees, they would show it in English instead of Italian. So I watched it in an Italian theater, and oh my goodness, there was no hype. I hadn't heard anything about the movie The Matrix. I just saw that it was Keanu Reeves. And so I went, and it was unbelievable. Yeah, that's right, Matthew. I'm sorry to break your heart. The ship does sink. Yep. Okay, Diane only has 1 account. I don't know what's going on then. I really don't know what's going on. It must be something in your browser. Maybe if you try a different browser. Just a thought. Yep. Anyway. Pierre Orban has shown up. Welcome to you, Pierre. It's good to see you. Ulrich Fenter. Welcome to you. Ans. Fansa Koglenberg. Hello to all the good peoples. Okay. Yeah, Traven said that last time Russia was invaded, it did not end well. No, it didn't end well. Pretty much every time Russia's been invaded, except by the Mongol horde and Timurids, it has not gone well. Under Timur. Yep. Other than that, it has not gone well. Yeah, so Cossacks were always a thorn in the Russian side, but even that was not a big deal. So anyway, yeah, and I'm sorry to break it to you, Matthew. The ship sinks. It really does. I didn't make that part up. It's a true story. The Titanic sank. Yep, it had a sister ship. Did you know that? Both of them, their keels laid in Belfast. Yes, you're right, Garrett. The swimming pool on the Titanic is full. It's not the only thing that's full. Yep. What about those people that went down in that submersible that just imploded? Oof. Wow. That was something. Well, at least they died instantaneously. What a way to go, though. What a way to go. What a way to go. Anyway. Yeah. So, Tuesday, August 13th, 2024, Maryland blue crabs have invaded the Mediterranean. Sign me up. You know, it's a shame because they're just, I don't know if they're just throwing those crabs away, but they should pick those crabs and sell that crab meat. I mean, Marylanders will buy that stuff like crazy. They'll drive down the price of blue crab meat, that's for sure. And the more you harvest, the less harm they do to clams and mussels. The Titanic was swapped out. Was there a shooter on the second shooter on the grassy knoll there, Matthew? The second shooter shot the Titanic. That's why it's like it wasn't an iceberg. It was a German ship. It was pre-World War II or World War I, and they were out there patrolling the North Atlantic, testing their submarines. Is that what happened? Anyway, the ship sinks. Indeed, the ship did sink, folks. But yeah, the mayor of Johannesburg has resigned, and not a day too soon. It's about time. We'll see what happens. How Al Jamal ever got a mayor is just comical. Yeah, the astronauts are trapped in space forever. Oof. Oh, my goodness. What's going on there? Boeing's confidence in the Starliner speaks volumes about, says former NASA astronaut. Really? Sorry, I can't get something out of my throat there. Yep. Bank of America CEO is revealing where U.S. consumer money is going and the problem with it. Well, it's not going to buy name brand goods, that's for sure. Bank of America CEO Brian Moynihan says customers are using more money to maintain a lifestyle. Really? At least 50% of Americans are carrying a higher balance today on a month-to-month basis on their credit cards. That's up from 44% in January. This comes at the same time that credit card debt hit another record level high last week, rising to $1.14 trillion, an increase of $27 billion, or about 1% from the previous quarter. So $1 trillion in credit card debt. Wow. But he said that consumers have been pulling back on their spending habits during the summer months this year. But when they do spend, it's either at a restaurant or on travel. They're spending a little bit less. They're going to the food store the same number of times, spending a little bit less, which means they're basically finding bargains and things like that. And you're seeing corporations cut prices to respond to that. Well, I don't see any price cuts anywhere. Nothing is being cut. All the prices are still outrageous. What are they talking about? What is he talking about here? He says the fact that a family of four received over 10,000 stimulus checks in 2021 when it was unnecessary. Who got 10,000? I didn't get $2,500 in stimulus checks in 2021. What nonsense is he talking about? This guy's talking out his ass. The stimulus checks were $600 twice. That's $1,200. Where does he get $10,000 from for a family of four? Guy's crazy. Former Colorado clerk Tina Peters, a one-time hero of election deniers, is convicted in a computer breach. Former Colorado clerk Tina Peters, the first local election official to be charged with a security breach after the 2020 election. Peters, a one-time hero of election deniers, was accused of using someone else's security badge to give an expert affiliated with MyPillow access to election system and deceiving other officials about the person's identity. So she's not convicted of election fraud. She's convicted of letting someone see the data. Wow. So she tried to expose election fraud, and she's found guilty of election fraud. She was found not guilty of identity theft, found one count of conspiracy to commit criminal impersonation, one count of criminal impersonation. Wow, they really poured it on for her. She was convicted of 3 counts of attempt to influence a public servant, 1 count of conspiracy to commit criminal impersonation, and first-degree official misconduct, violation of duty, and failing to comply with the Secretary of State. She's going to be sentenced on October 3rd. She'll be going to prison. Wow. Yet no one's been convicted for Capitol Hill Autonomous Zone. Wow. The actual insurrection in America. The defendant was the Fox Guardian hen house. It was her job to protect the election equipment, and she turned on it and used her power for her own advantage. Yep. Wow. Peters allowed a former surfer from California affiliated with Mike Lindell, Conan Hayes, to observe the software update and make copies of the hard drive using her security badge. Told visiting officials that Hayes posing as Wood worked for her, but while prosecutors said Peters committed identity theft by taking Wood's security badge and giving it to Hayes to conceal his identity, the defense said Wood was in on the scheme, so Peters did not commit a crime by doing it. All right. Interesting. So she's convicted. They're still going after people for 2020. That's crazy, but not the people who actually committed the crimes. Wow. Boeing's confidence in its ability for its Starliner capsule to bring NASA astronauts Butch Wilmore and Suni Williams back to Earth speaks volumes amid the uncertainty swirling around the troubled mission, according to former Space Shuttle Commander Eileen Collins. This is a major twist in the Starliner saga last week when NASA discussed the possibility of bringing them back to Earth on a SpaceX Crew Dragon. But in a statement released after NASA's August 7th press conference, Boeing said that Starliner could bring them back home. Well, that's not what they've been telling us. Boeing shares down 2.25% this morning, or last night, I should say. Wow. No PE ratio, so not paying any dividends. Boeing is in deep trouble, folks. Deep, deep trouble. Interesting. Interesting, to say the very least. All right, how are we doing over here? Heard on a local quiz show that the most valuable cargo on the Titanic was ostrich feathers. Really? I didn't know that. Hey, Monterey's in from Cape Town. I've tried a couple different things and still no luck. A bit stumped, but I'm sure I will eventually be unburdened by what has been. Diane, that's funny. That's very timely. That's very funny. Be unburdened by what has been. That's some good stuff there. You guys are killing me. You're killing me. Anyway. Oh my goodness. Like I said, this morning I was doing some rugby analysis, talking to M.V. Velman on Megaphone. That should get posted soon. A special tribunal has declared a $257 million PPE contract invalid. Orders the contractor submit audited statements. Well, is the money gone? Wow. These statements must be supported by expert reports. Additionally, Nkane is required to pay SIU's costs for the application, including the costs for 2 councils where applicable, said the Special Investigating Unit spokesperson Kaiser Kayango. Wow. High court case is formally stayed by the SIU pending the finalization of the tribunal case. The judgment signifies a crucial step in addressing corruption and ensuring accountability in PPE procurement during the COVID-19 pandemic. The judgment is expected to bring finality to a high court case in which Nkane is demanding payment of $89 million from the Gauteng Health Department, including $60 million for goods already delivered but not yet paid for, and include $28 million for goods ordered but of which it is refusing to accept delivery. Wow. So, interesting. More corruption in South Africa tied to the COVID scam. Police have intercepted 41 undocumented people who are in Ralph to Joburg. Whoop-de-doo. That's like a 5-minute job. There's thousands of others. The driver of the Baki and 2 taxi drivers were among those arrested in charge of contravening the Immigration Act. Mpumalanga Hawks spokesperson Captain Dine Sokotori said the arrest came after crime intelligence received information about 2 taxis which were transporting undocumented people from Mozambique. They are not undocumented. They are documented at home. They are criminal alien invaders. God bless. It's not hard to figure out. Cop Munden Saps and the local criminal record center and border police followed up on the information. The taxis were spotted, stopped, and searched on the N4 in Mpumalanga. Officers found men, teenage girls, and women traveling with toddlers, all of whom were said to be without proper documentation. Wow. It just keeps happening. South Africa, United States being invaded left and right. Former leader of Tim Walt's battalion publishes a scathing message aimed at his military career. Ooh. Battalion commander of Minnesota Governor Tim Waltz's former Minnesota Army National Guard unit issued a scathing message to Vice President Kamala Harris's running mate amid mounting stolen valor accusations. I do not regret that Tim Waltz retired early from the Minnesota National Guard, did not complete the Sergeant's Major's Academy, broke his enlistment contract, or did not successfully complete any assignment as a Sergeant Major. Unwittingly, he got out of the way for better leadership. Oh, wow. Wow. Now, that was from John Kolb, who served as Lieutenant Colonel, the commander of the 1st Battalion, 125th Field Artillery from 2005-2007. Wow. He now works as an attorney in Minnesota. Waltz has come under mounting criticism for stolen valor, including veterans slamming him for saying he's a retired Command Sergeant Major, which he's not. He's a liar. Waltz had earned the rank of Command Sergeant Major before his retirement, but his rank was reduced months after retiring because he did not meet the retirement standards. Yep. So Kolb continued in a social media post that he does not have a comment on Waltz retiring early, as it was his right to retire early, but that he is fraudulently using the retired Command Sergeant Major rank. By all accounts and on the record, he was a competent chief of firing, battery, gunnery, sergeant, first sergeant. I cannot say the same of his service, sitting frocked in the command sergeant major chair. He did not earn the rank or successfully complete any assignment as an E9. He did not earn the rank or successfully complete any assignment. It is an affront to the non-commissioned officer corps that he continues to glom onto the title. I can sit in the cockpit of an airplane. It does not make me a pilot. Similarly, when the demands of service and leadership at the highest level get real, he chose another path. Exactly. It's an affront to non-commissioned officer. Wow. Kolb tagged retired Command Sergeant Major Thomas Barents in the post, according to Daily Mail, who replaced Waltz and lauded the veteran as a great leader. Thomas Barents was the right leader at the right time. He sacrificed to answer the call, leaving his family, business, and farming partner, brother, and to train, lead, and care for soldiers. He earned the privilege of being called Command Sergeant Major. Like a great leader, he ran toward and not away from the guns. Ooh, yeah. He used the rank that he never achieved in order to advance his political career, told Laura Ingram. I mean, he still says he's a retired Command Sergeant Major today, and he's not. He used the rank of others to make it look like he's a better person than he is. Exactly. There's the stolen valor. That's what you go after. That's the true story of Tim Waltz. He is a fraud. He is a liar. He is a user, and that is what people need to do. That is the story that he needs to go with. Yep. Instead of this nonsense that they're running up these other stories, that's hang on a second. That's not what I want. Come on. Okay. Racist University of Kentucky student pleads guilty after singing the N-word 200 times at black staff in a 10-minute rant. Here's how long she faces in jail. She's going to jail? What are we like South Africa now? Wow. Okay, that's interesting. Let me read that. Prosecutors have demanded 12 months in jail and 100 hours of community service for a University of Kentucky student. She assaulted. Okay, that's different. She assaulted. Former business marketing major Sophia Rosing called a young female desk clerk the N-word 200 times as she stumbled drunkenly towards her dorm. She was still yelling it as she was led away by police officers. She had bitten, kicked, and informed of her wealth as they tried to restrain her. Aha, a privileged child. She pled guilty Monday 6 counts, including 4 of assault after they were amended to 4th-degree injury. I told her that she didn't break my spirit, desk clerk Kayla Spring said after the hearing. That was one of the things I said the first time I ever spoke about what happened, and that rings true today. Wow. Wow. She pled not guilty initial hearing with attorney in 2022. She stumbled back on the campus in Lexington, Kentucky after a night out drinking before launching herself at Spring, who was manning the front desk. Some students tried to intervene. Others took out their phones and recorded the 10-minute tirade during which she swung punches at Spring, told her to do her chores, and repeatedly called her an ugly N bitch. Wow. University of Kentucky police officer arrived to detain her at 4 a.m. She told them she gets special treatment because she has lots of money and refused to identify herself to officers as she was slung into jail. She was suspended by the university within hours of the incident and permanently banned from campus 3 days later. It later emerged that she allegedly doxed a 15-year-old girl while they were in high school together, publicly posting that she would send nudes and falsely claimed she had an abortion. Spring made an impassioned speech at an anti-racism march the day after the incident. Of course. University freshman became emotional as she addressed the dozens of people who attended the march in her honor. She told the crowd I was physically, verbally, and racially assaulted by... Spring. She was the victim here. Sorry, misspoke. Yep. Oh, wow. Wow. It's an occurring issue in and across the American school system, no matter what age. I'm deeply saddened by events took place, but I'm most grateful for justice to come. To Miss Russing, you will not break my spirit. Anyway. She quotes Michelle Obama. So, this is a person with some serious problems. Serious problems. All right, so let's take a look at this story. This one's fascinating. I'll bring this up on the screen. I'm going to do it over here. I was looking for another story. I couldn't find it, so I found this one. But this is interesting. Let's do that. So we're not talking about Celine Dion anymore. Here she is, racist University of Kentucky student. Okay, well, she assaulted someone. That's why she's going to jail, not for using the N-word. There she is. I don't know why she thinks she's pretty. That is not pretty to me. She looks creepy. Now, her high school picture, she looks attractive, but there she is. That's not pretty. Is that her sibling on the right? That girl looks just like her. Okay, there she is in high school. Her boyfriend's got his face covered. That's probably good. There she is. Class of 2019. Bleachy blonde there. It revealed that she grew up in a modest 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom family property. She bragged that she was rich. She's rich? That's not rich. Anyway. Yeah, the media are going to focus totally on her verbal abuse, as they always do. The more important issue is the physical assault. That's the reason they were requesting jail time. Anyway, there you go. What, flapjacks? Flapjacks? Are we eating Diane? What's this? Diane's going to lunch. Okay. All right. What's going on here? That's my alarm. Hey, Robert Zedde, what's going on? Did you see the team, Monty? No. Okay, so it's they've announced the team, huh? Okay, Twitter. No, it wasn't announced when I recorded an hour ago. So Springbucks. Let's see what we get here. Team announcement. Okay. All right, here we go. So, Ophelia Fosse. Okay, so it's not Villy. Cheslin Colby, Jesse Creel, Lucanio Am is back in the lineup. Makazole Pimpy's back in the lineup. Sasha gets the nod at fly half again. Mornay Vandenberg gets the start at scrum half. Wow, Elric Lowe, Peter Steph Dutoy, Marco van Staden, Roan Nordkia, Salman Morat, Thomas Dutoy, Johan Heubla, Jan-Henrik Vesels. Wow, that's fascinating. Let's save his image. Books. Wow, that's fascinating. That's an interesting lineup. Surprises are Lucanio Am, Makazole Mapimpi back. Mornay Vandenberg is a big surprise. Rowan Norkia is a surprise, and Salman Morat is the captain. Boy, they're really pushing the Salman Morat thing. Wasn't that's hang on a second here. Yeah. Got it. Okay. Anyway, so yeah, that's an interesting lineup for the Springboks. Off the bench, Malcolm Marks, Oxen Che, Vincent Koch, Eben Etzebeth, Quagga Smith, Grant Williams, Monty Lubbock, and Andre Pollard. Wow, a lot of fly halves in that lineup. That's crazy. That's crazy. All right, well, there you go. We got it. Interesting. Interesting. Right, where are we at here? I think it's 10 changes. Yeah, it's a lot of changes, Ashley. Yep, a lot of changes. That is a lot of changes. Anyway. Wow, that's fascinating, that one with the racism in Kentucky. That's really nasty. Really nasty person. Really, really nasty person. And she's just delusional. I think it's just someone just can't handle liquor, and now she's paid a huge price for it. Stupidity, to say the least. All right, folks, I'm going to wrap it up here. Thanks for being here. Appreciate you joining me today. It's time for me to go. I'll probably do something later today, and unannounced from my mobile. We'll chat later on today. All right, thanks. Appreciate you being here. Oh, excuse me, I'm tired. I'm getting up early to do this stuff. It's now almost 8 o'clock in the morning. I've got to be somewhere at 9, so I got to get changed and hit the road. Hit the road, Jack. Don't you look back. No more, no more, no more. Anyway, that's it. Cheers. Thanks for being here. And be sure to hit the like button. Only a handful of likes on this one. Small audience. This is not a good time to broadcast, is it? Cheers, everybody.